I've had to evict people, had to get dumpsters, and I've dealt with it all. But
How long does it take?
how long does it take to what?
evict?
It's a pain in the ass. I had a squatter.
Oh, you did?
I had a squatter. So my
had to
first
evict a
house.
squatter?
Yeah. So my first house I ever built.
And learning how to do that and learning to ask for business and being a salesman, as you said, everywhere in life, it helps everywhere. I mean,
Yeah.
it helps with buying cars. It helps with buying a house.
Here we go. Started from the bottom. That's kind of a funny story.
Yeah.
So, without further ado, we got a very special guest today. Started from the bottom. We got episode 12 coming at you now. A long time friend from way back in 6th grade.
5th grade.
5th? Well, 6th. I came in 6th.
Oh, I came in 5th.
You came in 5th. Where were you before that?
Northridge, baby. Come on.
So, yeah, way back when, St. Francis, and then Newark Catholic, then Ohio State, all together.
Yep. All together.
Good time. So basically, why we're doing this is to talk about business, entrepreneurship, and making things happen. And I can't think of someone that's made more shit happen than Hallam. He's pulled some shit out of his ass. That's for damn sure. So let's jump right into it. We fill out some info these days and get some things to talk about, what we're going to talk about. It's pretty crazy, some of this stuff. So let's jump right into it. So basically, you went to Ohio State.
Yeah.
And what'd you study there?
I was in business. I did not graduate, though.
So there's another little
Something
tidbit.
I'm proud of, actually.
Yeah, so it doesn't really matter, it doesn't. Don't tell that to kids, but
don't listen to that, kids.
especially Brian.
Especially my own.
Yeah, Brian's still fighting me on it today. He's like, well, I'm start making tons of money. I won't even graduate. And I'm like, you better, because
You didn't graduate from college.
yeah, it's my money, so I don't want to waste it. Okay, so you studied business, and then anyway, so let's get former mayor of Alexander, but how did that all transpire? Let's get into that.
All right. So it all started in Johnstown, Ohio. Our friends all got a babysitter, if you can imagine that, and we didn't. Ours fell through, and they went out, sent us a bunch of pictures, how much fun they were having, and my wife and I were in our garage, the first house we ever owned together, and I said, what can we do where everybody can just bring their kids? And she's a former softball player at Denison. She said, start me a softball league. And so from that day forward, we started a beer league called the Alexandria Fun League, right?
A beer league.
Yeah. That was 2013, and we played, of course, in Alexandria. While we were playing, we knew immediately we had a hit, right? There were more people in the stands than we had players in the field, actually. It was just so popular. The whole town turned on, and we used to say the town doubles in size every Sunday when we played, right?
Yeah.
Then we ran into some issues with some older guys there in town who'd been in Alexandria their whole life, and they were on what's called the park board at the time, and tried to charge us a bunch of money after they realized how popular it was. They wanted to charge us $90 a player, and a bunch of ridiculous rules. They would call the cops on us. The sheriff's office would show up all the time, and hey, we're gonna call, just saying hey. They didn't really care what we were doing because we really weren't doing anything wrong. But
I mean, what would they call the cops about?
I'd say we were drinking. They would say we were doing drugs.
Dumb stuff.
Yeah. Which, as well as I do, when the cops show up, if no matter what you're drinking, if it's in a cup, they don't really care. So
Right.
it was a whole bunch of that, and the sheriff's office knew that. And in all actuality, I'd start early on. We would donate, money to the Fraternal Order of Police and the sheriff's office just to let them know that we appreciate their service, right? But anyhow, it got to a point where we left Alexandria. We went to Homer for a while. We tried to come back, still more problems, and finally I said, who's in charge of the park board? And the mayor at the time actually said, I am. His name was Adam Mooney. And I said, the mayor's in charge. Okay. Well, I was moving into town at the time. I had to be there for a year in order to become a council member. Just before my year came up, the issue of the park board came up, and the village council at the time decided to dissolve the park board as a response to how they were treating us. Right, the businesses in Alexandria, the people in Alexandria loved us playing there. These 4 old guys hated us, so they dissolved the park board. It was a big celebration there in Alexandria. Really big deal. A couple days later, I was appointed to a council seat, and some stuff that we'll get into here in a little bit. forced the mayor to resign. He decided he didn't want any part of it. He resigned, and the council at the time made me council president, which made me de facto mayor. So
Yeah. And so why did he resign? Because you got ordered or what?
No. The treasurer at the time, there was some rumblings when I got to council about how she wasn't very transparent. The current council members at the time couldn't get answers to where the money was going, how it was being spent. She was evasive, if not combative, in meetings whenever asked about it. So it created a culture inside the village government where you don't question me. And if somebody did question her, she had plenty of supporters around her that would really just, you would hear something like, how can you say that about her? How can you ask her these questions? Without her, we wouldn't even be a village. We need her, right? So she created this
aura.
Yeah, this ambiance of importance, right?
Yeah.
That everybody thought we needed her.
Maybe because she was there so long or what?
Yeah, she was there for 8 years when I started, and we started asking questions. Me and the other council members. There were 6 of us total. Essentially, when we started, it became apparent that we were going to remove her, right?
Yeah.
And the vote to remove her was 5-1. I was one of the 5, obviously. But when we decided, when it was very apparent that we were going to remove her, the mayor at the time resigned because he didn't believe that she would do anything wrong. And I think it was innocent enough on his part, but he just didn't believe that she was doing anything wrong. So as I said earlier, he resigned. The council president at the time was like a vice mayor, so to speak. Right? Her name was Judy Newell. She stepped down from her post as council president. They immediately put me in that post, which made me the mayor for the first time. So 1 year and 5 days from the time I moved into the village, I was the mayor. I was the mayor without a single vote cast. Actually, I like saying that.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. So, what kind of stuff did you have to do? I mean, what kind of responsibilities does the mayor have there?
Right. So the mayor, and it's just a small, right? So the title's more important than the job, just so everybody knows that, right? It's a town of 517 people. I grew up there. I love it. I'll never move too far away from it. But just the day-to-day operation of the town, paying bills, street services, snow removal, salt spreading, mowing, making sure that the sewer plant is operating properly, making sure that the water system's operating properly. You don't actually do those things unless you have to, but as the mayor, you're in charge of the employees and making sure that the day-to-day operation
Runs efficiently.
Yeah, runs efficiently. And then of course, you're also the chief law enforcement officer in a statutory village like that. So we didn't have a police department at the time. So technically, I would be in charge of enforcing those laws. But as you can imagine, if anything happened, we just called the sheriff's office.
Yeah.
It's not like I showed up.
Mayor and the police?
Yeah, it wasn't anything like that.
So you guys decided to remove this treasurer, and you decided to remove her before you knew anything for sure?
No, I guess you could say that. We knew that she was not being forthcoming with any of these public records. First of all, they're public records. Second of all, we were public officials, so we have access to anything that isn't public record, actually, right? And in Ohio, with a small town like that, outside of employee information, address, social security number, stuff like that, everything is public.
Yeah.
Right? So we don't have to be public officials to be asking for copies of the checks or where the money is going. You don't even have to be a resident of the village. You can just go in. It's Ohio, so we have sunshine laws, they're called, and you should be given without question whatever public records you want.
Yeah.
Right?
Interesting.
Yeah. So we weren't getting it, and it was like, well,
that's weird.
Yeah. We're going to go ahead and I openly accused her of stealing, and looking back, probably shouldn't have done that. It worked out in the right way because clearly she was. You know what I mean? But I didn't know at the time decorum rules and all that stuff. It was just like, hey, I want to see this stuff, and I know that my fellow council members want to see this stuff. And for some reason, why is it a fight?
Yeah. And if you're not forthcoming, then what the hell is going on?
Right. So we went into what's called executive session, where it's pretty much kicking the public out, where we can discuss somebody's employment.
Yeah.
Not allowed to vote in there, but essentially everybody says how they feel. Every council member and the mayor says how they feel. The person you're talking about does not have to be in there. She wanted to be in there. She was not, right? We wanted to be a space where the officials could discuss how they felt without judgment or backlash from her. And it was constantly defending and no, I didn't do this, and this is why, and here's what's happening, and I have to be in charge. And it clouded everything, right?
Yeah.
And we were able to, if I can back up a little bit, we were able to convince a solicitor to come and work for us, right? It's probably the best deal I ever pulled off. We got Mike Moran, who was the Village of Hartford solicitor. He just retired. A solicitor is the attorney for the village, right? We got him to come and work for the village, and since we didn't have any money, I convinced him to do it for $500 a month, which is
Peanuts.
yeah, for the amount of work that man did. He really did it for free, pretty much. But without him and his experience and him just digging into some of the finances himself, we probably wouldn't have been successful in removing her and eventually proving her guilty in a court of law.
So, I guess let's keep diving into this. So, obviously you thought something was going on,
Yeah.
and so how did that transpire? So, you started digging in. The attorney got involved, and then when did he for sure know and had some proof?
In that executive session I mentioned earlier, he came in, we all discussed it, and he said, guys, council members, Mr. Mayor, here's what I have. And this is just a small snippet. This is just a couple months worth. And I'm certain if we continue to dig, we're going to find that there was theft in office for years now. But at this point, it looks like something that's so major that, in my opinion, as solicitor would remove her. It's up to the council to do so. It's actually up to the mayor, or it was the simple majority of council and the mayor, or super majority of the council, which is all five to one, without mayor's consent. The mayor said nope. So we needed 5 to 1. Luckily, looking back, there was 5 of us to remove her. And then he had full access where he just could go into her office and start looking up records. And we got her passwords and pulled up the computer system. And essentially, over the course of 8 years, it was roughly 1,100 checks written to herself, totaling $208,000 from a town of 517 people.
Jesus, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money for that town.
Well, that's a lot of money for the county, even. Yeah, so.
Jesus, man, that's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Wow. So whatever happened to her?
She had 4 years, sentenced to 4 years in prison. I think she served just over 2. We had to go to court, me and the council members and me, when I as the mayor, right? We were the representatives of the victim, of course. So
Wow.
I had to go to court for her sentencing and spoke. We had to, Judge Marceline gave her a granted early release as a way to make sure that he could control, or his court could control her parole and make sure that she followed parameters, where I guess it would have been different if she served her whole 4 years. I'm not really sure how it worked. I mean, he's the judge, right?
Yeah.
So, she got out a little over 2 years after she went in, and to this day, honestly, I don't know how much she's paid back. I'm certain the courts are holding her accountable for that. So part of her sentence was to pay that money back.
So how much does she have to pay back?
All of it.
So she has to pay that? Oh,
Yeah.
Oh my God! And go to prison.
You can't steal a bunch of money.
Yeah, don't steal. Don't steal money, boys and girls. You're gonna pay, literally.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. So, and then you became mayor, right? So he resigned, and you became mayor. How long were you mayor?
Oh, let's see. I was mayor twice, actually. I want to say for like a year or two the first time, something like that.
Yeah.
And then ran for re-election. So essentially it was the year or two that finished the former mayor's term.
Okay.
And then ran for re-election. And it's funny that, I lost.
Yeah.
I lost the election. Yeah. I went through all that, and I lost the election, I think, by 16 votes. But just to tell you how divided the town was, the guy that beat me in that race was the one no vote to fire her. How about that, right? So he just didn't believe that she did it. Obviously, by the time I ran for re-election, he was running against me. We knew, but the town still wasn't convinced. A lot of people supported her. A lot of people didn't believe that she did it, and there were a lot of very influential residents, I'll say, to put it lightly, that sort of stood behind her and felt that other people stole it, or it was blown out of proportion, or it wasn't stolen, or she was just being reimbursed. You name it. They had an excuse for it. But anyhow, I lost. And at the guy that won, her sentencing wasn't finished just yet, or she was, I can't remember the timeline, but she had OPERS, right? She had money in OPERS that we matched, right? So if you're under investigation for theft in office, even if you do retire or get fired or quit, those funds are frozen unless released by the victim, which in this case would be the Village of Alexandria. And one of the first things that guy did when he was in office was release, I think it was like $27,000. He released her OPERS to her, and she actually used that to defend herself. And so when that came out, so he's the mayor, I go back to a council seat, right? when that came out, we put a lot of pressure on him just to, what are we doing? There was all this theft. We know what happened. Why would you release that? Passed a resolution of no confidence in his leadership, stuff like that. He eventually resigned, and I was the council president, so I became the mayor again.
That's funny. How long?
That one was probably, I want to say a year, a little over a year. It was like, if my memory serves, I was like the end of September, maybe beginning of October when he resigned.
Yeah.
And then, so a year and 1 month later was the next election. I didn't run for mayor there. I didn't run for mayor.
That's crazy.
So I lost. You think you catch somebody cheating, or you're a pretty integral part of it. Catch them stealing, and
you get
you think
reelected.
Yeah, I totally lost.
Like you said, half the town was like, "That's bullshit." Jesus, I mean, politics are so crazy. Even if it's black and white, people don't want to believe it. God, unbelievable.
Yeah, funny.
Jesus.
So mayor twice, never elected once.
So you built this Field of Dreams, and so tell us about that.
So I grew up with Fritz Drum's daughters. I grew up with Lindsay and Jill Drum. They're now Lindsay Davis and Jill Wheatley, but I grew up with them and their younger brother Fritz. Their dad died, and I'm sorry, ladies, I'm sure they're going to see this, but I think it was in 2000, I want to say. And he died of a heart attack. He was a Hall of Fame slow pitch softball player. It's a real thing. He was a legitimate superstar.
Interesting.
Yeah, he's very, very good. Passed away suddenly of a heart attack, and his wife Joyce, what she really wanted to do, her life's goal was to build a softball facility or baseball diamond or a park, really. You know what I mean? For the community, named after her husband, where people could go and play sports and just, he was an athlete of all sports. He just happened to specialize in his later years in softball, I guess. But it was her dream. In true Alexandria fashion, right? Just there's so much bureaucracy in a small town, right? There's so many people that took it over, and I'm sure that for the most part they had the best intentions. But the problem with especially small towns, and it might be that way in larger cities, but people, there's too many people that want to be in charge, or too many people that think they're in charge. And so essentially for 14 years she was trying to get this park built. She doesn't know anything about building a park. All she knows are people that can help, or people that want to help, and she keeps giving all these people shots. And it just, over the course of 14 years, all that really happened was the land was purchased with Licking County Parks Department. I think it's 20 acres or something like that, and drainage was put in. But other than that, in 2014, when she asked me to take it over, it was weeds up to your head. It was just a field, a field of wildflowers and weeds. 20 acres, and I didn't build the park. I didn't dig any holes. I didn't put in any fence, right? So essentially, my role was when she first asked me to do it, I did three things the first day. One, just like with the Village of Alexandria stuff, I figured out who was in charge of the Parks Commission, the Licking County Parks District, and they told me the commissioners, Licking County commissioners. So I called them and just reminded them of how many votes there are in Alexandria, how we need this park, and who do I, it's been 14 years,
right?
And I talked to Dwayne Flowers actually.
Yep.
That conversation maybe took 15 minutes.
Yep.
And then my phone rang 10 minutes later, and it was a gentleman from Licking County Parks, and I'm here to do whatever you need me to do, Mr. Hallam, and just tell me what your plan is, and we're going to work with you. And so I would assume he made a couple phone calls, right? But
making some things happen, like we talked about.
Yeah, and so the second thing I did was call the Alford family, right? Park National Bank fame.
Yep.
And they donated $10,000.
Is that Cantlin's or who?
Yeah.
Cantlin's,
so Cantlin's mom, right, is an Alford, right?
Bev?
So, Yep. So I talked to Ron, right, her brother, and really, I mean, I don't want to say no questions asked. He just was like, hey, fill this out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is great. Let's do this.
Let's do this. Yeah.
So gave us $10,000, which may not seem like a lot of money, but when you're building a public park and everybody donates their time and most of the materials free, $10,000 went a long way.
Right.
Joyce did a great job with her golf outings that she still has every year, making money for the Fritz Drum project. So there's a good amount of money there that really got us started. And the third thing that I did was, and a lot of people didn't really like it this way, but I focused first on making a nonprofit organization that would get what I wanted to be a perpetual lease forever to operate the Licking County Park, which I don't know how long it is now. It's been 11 years since I was involved, but the Fritz Drum Memorial 501c3 still operates the park. So I wrote the bylaws and articles of incorporation and everything that had to be done, turned it over to the attorney, and we were approved. And then we were able to issue receipts.
Yep.
And we were able to.
So it's a nonprofit.
Yep.
Yep.
It's called the Fritz Drum Memorial.
Yep.
They have, I want to say, 5 people on the board, and they operate and handle the upkeep of the park, the maintenance and the upkeep. And they have big plans. They're building a shelter house this year. They've been raising money. Yeah, we've the Fun League has played there the last couple of years. We've had a couple of tournaments there. Yeah,
nice.
And it's been really great. We had a rough patch there, me and the Fritz Drum people for just a little bit, but we've sort of buried the hatchet, which I certainly appreciate. We've played there now. I want to say this will be our 3rd year coming up here in May.
Nice.
To start. So,
how many fields does it have?
2.
2 fields.
We wanted 4 at the beginning, but the Licking County Parks District was worried that they didn't want a softball or baseball facility. They wanted a family sports complex or park. So there's several areas for soccer fields or football fields. There's 2 baseball diamonds. There's a spot that they still have cleared that eventually will probably be what I'm told is going to be a sand volleyball court, like a walking path around it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But we wanted 4. They said no, we only want 2 because we want it to be a softball facility.
So, what was the total budget on that? Because that's not cheap.
Yeah, I mean,
people donating a lot, right?
Yeah. So I can't remember the amount of money that we had in the account, when we incorporated. But I mean, we got all of the fencing, I think, for like $2,500 for 2 fields, and they're 6-foot tall fences.
That's cheap.
There's a lot of generosity. The guy that installed it was a fence contractor, came and did it for free. The excavating was done for free. They retiled the infields. The company did that for free. So my role really wasn't. People say, people get a little offended, I think, sometimes when somebody says I built the park. But my role was really just to let the experts work. Right. So here's the fence guy. Right. Everybody leave him the hell alone.
That's kind of what construction is.
Right.
So, organizing,
keeping the small town stuff away from each individual expert and letting them
do their thing.
Obstacle they had and giving them everything they needed. But the budget, I think, Joyce would be able to correct me on this. She might roll her eyes, but I think we did it at least. I want to say it was only like 25 or 30 grand.
Yeah, a lot of donations.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
There was
all the money essentially was donated, but the reason it's so cheap is because all of the material was donated. Right. Gravel and dirt and infield mix from several companies and bases and
just tons of donations.
Just everybody just wanting to get involved. The Newark Advocate got involved. Northridge School District got involved. It was a big media event there. You know what I mean? Back in 2014, there was a picture of my wife working on one of the flower beds, pregnant. It's actually pretty funny looking, But
getting after it.
Once the media sort of started reporting on it, then the donations really started coming in. So I found I was good at finding people to do the work for free, or donate the work, I should say, and donate money. And then I was good at keeping problems away from them so they could do what they were supposed to do. And
it's a hell of an architect too, wasn't it?
Yeah. I remember there's an architect gave us blueprints for the dugout. Who was that? What's his name?
McAnally? Yeah, because I remember the guy was doing the block on the dugout, and he's like, "Man, someone over designed the hell out of it." I was like, "Well, I didn't want it to fly away either."
Right. They're still there. They're not going to go. They're not going to go anywhere.
Built like a jail. That's funny. Yeah. So that's been done for how long?
2014 is when we took it over. So they started using it in the fall of 2014, and then 2015 it's been continuously used since then.
Sweet. So what's it all used for? Softball, and then baseball teams use it?
Yeah. So we didn't want to build an adult, you know what I mean? I was always careful. I didn't want to take over the project and build, finally get it built. It was such a big deal when it finally got built. It was 14 years she was trying to get it done, and it was such a high pride moment, right? We were so excited that we were able to pull it off. But I didn't want to take over the project, get it done with my softball league, right? And then make it my facility. Yeah. So we made sure we play on them, but they're kid-size fields.
Yeah.
I mean, we play adult softball on them, but the infield can go all the way out to adult size, like 90-foot bases, but the outfield fences are
pretty short.
Yeah, they're for little kids.
Yeah.
Which is what it's supposed to be for.
Right.
Right. So baseball, softball, soccer, of course, t-ball, football. They have the Alexandria Fun Days there, which is the local fair, showing a little bit of our country in Alexandria. They have tractor pulls.
They do there?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, in the parking lot, man. Big deal. It's fun.
Sweet.
Got to check it out.
We'll have to check it out next year. When is that?
Oh, it's the middle of July sometime. I think usually like July, one of the middle weeks in July, 15th, something like that.
So part of what this podcast is overcoming things and making shit happen. And so let me see. So at some point, and we became pretty close during this time, you found out that you had a lump in your throat. And so I guess just talk about that and how did that happen and that kind of thing.
So July of 23 is when they took it out. So a couple months before that, I was having some health problems. It was like kind of gagging,
Yeah.
when you swallow water down the wrong pipe,
Yeah.
choking and coughing. That was happening, but when I wasn't eating or drinking, man, something's wrong with me. And my brother had died, a few years earlier at 42 of cancer. So my wife and family and everybody, obviously everybody's scared of that happening to me too, right? So
Yeah.
I went to the doctor. He said, you got an inflamed esophagus. Here's some omeprazole, which is like over-the-counter,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, antacid or something. Like, oh, that's weird. And kind of doctor feels around, does this kind of stuff on you, And he gets here and he goes, what is that? And I said, oh, that was a lymph node, I don't know, it's been about 5 or 6 months. He said, not a lymph node, and we're getting you in. And then I really got scared because he was like, you're going right now to get it checked out. So it was like, what the hell's going on here? So it just sort of all happened really fast. And turns out that the choking, the gagging stuff had nothing to do with it.
Really?
It had nothing to do with it at all.
Jesus,
So I was at the
that's
doctor
fluky.
I was at the doctor for something else, and they, I don't know if you know what a PET scan is, right? But they essentially put dye in you and put you
Okay.
a scan, and what glows is cancer, just to put it in the most layman terms possible, right? So it was glowing. They, I don't know, 2 months later in July, they, you know what I mean? They went in. It was like a 45-minute surgery. I wasn't even asleep. They sliced open my neck and took it out, and I didn't have to have chemo or radiation or anything. They found it that early. So,
That's crazy.
yeah. So every 6 months I got to go for testing for it. But I like to say I got lucky, but go to the doctor.
You go to the doctor, man.
They found it when I wasn't there for.
That's
I wasn't there for it.
dude. It seems simple, but
Yeah.
just go to the damn doctor, man.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
try to stay ahead of it, because man, I'll tell you,
Yeah.
it's pretty crazy. So you were saying that a couple years earlier, it wasn't so lucky. What
Yeah.
what happened with Bob? So he had cancer, and what kind of cancer was it?
Oh man, Bob had cancer everywhere. So
Yeah.
he complained for a while about pain behind his heart, like in his back, back.
Yeah.
And his wife Lori would always try to rub on it, but she couldn't get to it. And, you know what I mean? It kind of seemed like it was inside his ribcage, but he, didn't really. He wasn't a doctor kind of guy. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? That's just the way it was. And it's coming up on 4 years, I believe. But he woke up in the middle of the night in January, and it was so bad that she had to take him in, and they did some sort of scan. I don't know which one, but they found tumors on his heart. And then when he got his PET scan, it was, I'm not going to get the whole list, but it was like colon, intestine, lung,
It was
bone.
a lot of
He had his
places.
brain, he had his on his
Jesus.
heart. It was like 7 or 8 different places. He fought it pretty hard and went through chemo and radiation. It seemed like it was going pretty good. Then the brain tumor developed, and they had to stop chemo and radiation. To operate on his brain. They pulled that out, and then he had to wait several weeks before the chemo and radiation could start. And by that time, it was too late. So they found it in January. I don't remember the date. He died in July.
Jesus.
Yeah.
So
42.
42, man. How long was he having those pains?
Oh, I would, if I had to guess, probably a year.
A year.
Yeah.
So I wonder if it would have mattered. If it was already,
Yeah.
it's hard to say, but
Yeah, they don't really. Cancer's a funny thing, and the way doctors, anybody that's had somebody go through cancer, the way the doctors talk to you, they're a little more. I don't want to say that they lie a little bit, but they tell you things that help you heal, in their opinion. So they say it wouldn't have mattered. Now, would it have or not? Who knows?
Right.
It was so aggressive. whatever the cancer was that he had, it was so aggressive. That
Yeah.
I don't think it probably would have. But
Right.
the doctors aren't going to be like, well, if you'd told him to go to the doctor, you dumbass.
Right.
They say that, of course.
Right.
So they told us, no, we don't think it probably would have mattered if he maybe a year, maybe more than a year plus earlier, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
pretty rough, man.
that's an aggressive fucking cancer, man. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and at the living right now, he had it's some sort of syndrome that's in it was in his blood.
Yeah.
That it's pretty rare, but it's a thing, and it just the way his body worked, cancer starts and spreads much faster than a normal person. So we didn't have to see like long suffering. I mean, obviously, it was terrible watching. I mean, it's your brother, right?
Yeah.
It's, watching his wife, watching his kids.
Yeah.
It was a tough thing for all of us. But
Yeah.
it seemed like he was still pretty strong even when he died. So
Yeah.
essentially, what got him was his cardiac arrest because those tumors on his heart just ate away a little too much. You know
Yeah.
what I mean, so he was sick. Obviously, he wasn't
Yeah.
the same Bob, but it wasn't like a frail, weak.
Yeah.
You didn't recognize him. You know what I mean? So.
Well, that's good. Did he get like that eventually, or not really?
No, it just happened so fast.
Yeah.
We found out, and 6 months later, he was dead. So
Jesus, God,
it was.
that's unbelievable.
Yeah, it changes you, man.
Yeah.
It'll get you. It affected our family quite a bit, right? There's some lost relationships there.
Yeah.
That, especially with me, it makes it tough, right? Do you hold against somebody what they did when they're going through something like that? It's kind of tough to do that.
Right.
But also, when you look back, man, look how you treated me when I was going through that. So I
Yeah.
don't have any time for you no more.
Right,
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, people change and people act differently at times.
It's tough. It was really tough, man.
It's tough, man. Well, Bob's smiling down. How's his family?
Brendan is actually in town right now, but he's in the United States Army.
Wow.
Yeah, he's stationed in Kuwait right now. He is oh man, Pete, don't hold me to it, but I think he's a crew chief,
Nice.
Black Hawk, something like that.
Wow.
I'm sure he's probably going to see this, but Jade lives in Newark. His daughter, she's got a bunch of kids, and she's engaged, and they're doing great.
Nice. Well, good.
They seem to be doing really great. Brendan's married too.
Wow.
He's married too. Yeah.
How old are the kids? I mean,
26 and
Jeez.
22,
Time's
21,
flying,
21.
man. Time's flying.
21.
Jesus.
Yeah, so 25, 21, 26.
That's crazy. That's crazy. And so, well, we talked about your family a little bit. So you've been married almost 15 years, right?
15 coming up.
And kids?
Yeah, got 2 step kids. They're 18 and 20, and then 2 kids we had together that are 13 and 10.
Nice. Yeah.
Well, Corey Sue.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just saw her the other day.
Yeah, she's all squared away. She's vice president at Chase.
Wow. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Damn.
You gotta have her on. She's
Man, making moves.
yeah. She works in compliance.
Nice.
I'm probably getting that a little bit wrong because
Yeah.
she does quite a bit, but yeah, they promoted her to vice president a year or so ago, maybe 2 years ago. But
That's
she's
good.
doing well. She's been there for. It's funny when I met her. She wasn't even divorced yet. She was living with her parents
Yep.
with her 2 kids. I met her in early May, and her divorce wasn't final until May 20th, but she'd been separated for over a year. But she was paying for the mortgage and the bills at the house that they owned together, but couldn't afford to really do anything else, so she lived with the kids at her grandparents' house. And she was working at Huntington. She wasn't making very much money. She certainly wasn't using her degree. And it's funny, I at the time was a bank recruiter, and so I juiced up her resume and got it over to Chase, and the rest is history. She's
Yeah.
been there since then.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy.
She's earned everything she got when she got in there.
Yeah.
But, she got a raise. I think it was like 16 grand a year. And at the time we thought we were loaded. Like,
Yeah.
oh my God, what are we going to do with all this? Like,
Damn.
16
grand, son. That's funny. Yeah. And Elizabeth, I mean, if you, she doesn't like too many females, so she likes her.
Yeah.
So that's impressive.
Yeah.
So
I was just talking to her before I left the house.
yeah.
Why don't you come? Maybe Elizabeth's there. I'll reach out to her.
Yeah.
She's the same way. Yeah,
Yeah.
women are, I don't know.
Interesting.
They have their little set of friends and they don't get along too well with other women. I don't really know why.
Yeah. Well, I get it.
But our wives like each other.
Yeah. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
What okay, so public speaking. So obviously you're pretty damn good at it. And so where have you done this, and you've actually trained people before?
Yeah. So
I should probably take some lessons, but
yeah. Career-wise, I've been mostly a trainer, right? Of really all kinds of new employee training, right? So once you develop a skill as a trainer for any company, it doesn't really matter what you end up having to train. You're gonna be able to do it. So it's kind of like being a salesman, right? If you got a great salesman, they're gonna be able to sell a car, they're gonna be able to sell a house, they're gonna be able to sell furniture. It doesn't really matter what you put in front of them, right? The same thing goes with training, right? I got lucky. I was only 23 when a company that I worked for I'll never forget it. I didn't know anything about it, and this guy named Ken Corbett, I actually still talk to him. He said, there's gonna be a lot of people that are pretty men around here, Andy. I said, why is that? He said, because you're the new trainer. I said, well, I don't even know how to do that. What are you talking about? He said, no, I've been doing this a long time, and you got it. And so you're gonna find a lot of pissed off people, but you're the new trainer at 23 years old for this company. And I was lucky enough to just be able to be somebody that can stand up in front of groups and speak. And I've developed it over the last obviously 22 years. I was a trainer at the company I'm at now, Bread Financial, for 3 years. I trained most of the trainers that are there now, and trained a lot of the international trainers from other companies where we're also at. And I've moved on since then to a different position inside Bread. But the public speaking stuff still continues. So the department where I work now, it's more on the global side, and my boss, actually my boss's boss, she's sort of utilizes those training skills, and I end up speaking in front of pretty large groups all over the world, right? So we have 2 different sites in Mexico, we have South Africa, we have Jamaica, we have the Philippines.
But you're going soon, right?
Yeah, going to the Philippines in June for work. Yeah, Corey's going to come with me on vacation a little bit. It'll be nice. But with public speaking, sort of shout out to all the higher ups at Bread Financial that
shout out.
lean on me a little bit for private sessions, right? With public speaking. So the issue with public speaking for all those that want to develop this, right?
Give us some tips.
Right. So you need to really be self-aware. You need to really understand your verbal tics, whether it be the word right, which has sort of crept into my life lately because so many people that I work with say right instead of
I just did it.
yeah, right. You know what I mean? So the word like is something to really stay away from.
My family freaking says it all the time.
Oh yeah,
probably me too. Damn it.
Really like.
Oh my God.
Like the kids get so mad, right? So there's the right. So you just have to be self-aware first and figure out what your verbal tics are, and then hear them. You're not going to fix them on the spot, but as long as you start hearing what your tics are,
right,
you're gonna learn to as much as you learn to sort of develop a hatred for those tics, they will go away. Okay, because we use them to fill space. We don't want to be silent when we're talking because silence is so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So we do things like so anyway, right? Mm-hmm. We fill the void, so to speak, because that silence will make you nervous, and it makes you start to you get some anxiety when you're publicly speaking if you're not speaking the whole time. Okay, so first step in public speaking is learn that. Everybody has them. Yeah. Whether you use them too much or not very much at all, it just depends on the person. You got to be careful, because if you start paying attention to that, you will start seeing other people, and it will bug the hell out of you. So you got to be careful. You got to be careful with that. However, once you realize your verbal tics, once you realize, just sort of think about them internally when they come up. Oh man, I just said right there, or whatever it may be. You don't have to stop what you're saying. Just start recognizing it, right? Once you get there, when it comes to public speaking, everybody just wants to write out the speech, right? They want to write out the facilitation. They want to learn every single word, and this is exactly how it's going to go. And it never goes that way. Somebody asks a question, the microphone quits working, the camera falls down. Something will always happen. They'll laugh, they'll clap, they'll cheer. Hopefully, right? Yep. So it never goes the way that you think it's going to go, and so you got to stop. Really, it's very hard. It's easier said than done. You have to stop memorizing what you're going to say and just think about what you're going to talk about. Make yourself as much of an expert as you can, okay? And realize that you're going to get up there, you're going to engage the crowd, because none of us give speeches like a president. We speak publicly and we engage the crowd, and they ask questions, or they cheer, or whatever the engagement may be, right? You want to engage them in conversation. You don't want to just spew information at them. And so stop trying to learn every single word of every single thing you're going to say. Just realize that you're going to get up there and talk about it and have a conversation with people that either certainly don't know as much about that subject as you do. Right? It's very rare that you're going to be up there talking about any subject to a bunch of experts that know more about it than you do. That's a rare thing. It probably will never happen to most of us. Right? Now, the most important thing is learning how to mess up. The best speakers, no matter what their charge is, they mess up all the time. They really do. Now, you can look at some of our, the current or the former president, right? And when they mess up, one of them, we just won't name names, but one of them would get all messed up and start stuttering and couldn't get past it. He never really learned how to make a mistake, publicly speaking. If you go even further back, we had a President Obama that could really speak, right? He's probably one of the better speakers that we've seen in the last 30, 40, 50 years, right? When he messed up, nobody ever recognized it.
No one knew.
He would just move on with it, and it didn't affect him. He didn't care that he messed up.
Right.
And that's the key to public speaking is instead of practicing what you're going to say and then trying to memorize the whole speech like we used to do in high school, it's just learning about the subject, deciding that you're going to discuss that subject, and understanding that when you do mess up, whether it be wrong information, which is something you really don't want to do, or you just stutter, you say a word wrong, or you cough, or whatever it may be, just come up with a game plan to be okay with it.
Right.
And it's okay to make fun of yourself a little bit. I mean, I try to, at work, when I'm speaking publicly, I'm always teaching those that I'm, they're always watching me.
Yeah.
I'm speaking, right? And so I use it as a lesson, because even though I train them individually most of the time, I know that they're listening, and I'll mess up on purpose.
Right.
And I'll just say something like, "You think they could put somebody up here could speak, right?" And nobody even notices it. You move on, and it's just it's removing that anxiety from messing up.
Yeah.
And I realize how much easier said that is than done, but that is the key to public speaking. If you can just gain that confidence that you have in any other form of life.
So do you just mess up on purpose or what?
Yeah, but I do, but it's not for my benefit or what I'm doing at the time. It's because I know the people I'm trying to train how to publicly speak.
So you don't necessarily say someone should do that, but you do it. And
This is me being a trainer,
right?
So I'll mess up, and you know what I mean. Afterwards, did you see that little mess up?
Yeah.
You didn't do it on purpose. You're full of shit, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, next time you hear me speak, I'll mess up, and I'll let you know. But it's just a confidence, and it's not for everybody, right? I mean, it's one of the hardest things you can do.
It is hard, man.
I tell everybody, my company's huge, right? It's, as I said, it's an international company, and it doesn't matter what the department is, from the executive level down to the very, just the associate level. There's always room in every single department, regardless of what it is, for somebody who can speak.
Yeah.
And if you can do that, this Fortune 500 company will put you.
You're gonna have a job.
They can always use somebody that can speak.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Figure that one out.
It's not easy, man. Like you said, it's not for everyone. It makes me nervous just thinking about it. I mean, I can do camera fine. I need to practice groups.
Yeah.
I probably need to do some stuff with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, I'm always down to speak in front of a captive audience, right? It just never really bothered me. I was born with the ability to do that, where it wasn't.
So do you ever get nervous?
Yeah, actually, I'm a nervous wreck, but I don't know. I try to tell the kids, they're getting older, especially the 8th grader. She's putting herself out there a little bit. She's in the band. She did a solo here a couple weeks ago, and she runs for student council.
Solo, wow.
Yeah, and I see that in her. She's got that ability. The other kids, I'm not sure if it's there or not, but with her, you can see it. It's just, you're going to mess up. You know this. Daddy's been talking about it your whole life. So if you're going to put yourself out there, you're going to mess up in front of everybody.
Yeah, that's okay.
And it's all right. So you just have to learn to get used to that.
Yeah.
Because you will mess up.
Yeah. Absolutely. So that's pretty awesome that you're good at that, because I mean, it's not easy. That's for damn sure. I mean, some people think camera is harder. I think being in front of a group is.
Yeah, if I had to choose, it would be in front of a group. But
yeah. What, that's harder? Or
no, that it's easier.
Oh, really?
I'd rather
do it in front of a group
than in front of the camera. But you just don't have a reaction. Like I said, you want to engage your.
Oh yeah, you were saying that.
The camera here.
And so you've sales trained for 15 years?
Yeah, I was a sales trainer for 15 years, and then maybe a little bit longer, where it just was training salespeople, hiring, recruiting, and training salespeople. And I don't know. I loved it. I love it. I love being around salespeople. I love them. My best friends are salespeople. No offense to you, but you know what I mean. You're a salesman yourself. But,
right.
Guys that I've worked with and become friends with, for most of my adult life, are all salespeople that I've either worked with or actually trained to be salespeople.
You think about it. You're using sales every day.
Every day.
You're selling your wife to go to the movies.
Yeah.
Okay. Selling her to go to a different restaurant. You picked last time, and I always let you pick, but this time, can we just go to this place, please?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's sales. sales all day.
Yeah, convincing people to do what you want.
Yep, selling your kids.
Making them feel like it's their idea, right?
Like, I shouldn't have to sell you to do the dishes, but okay, do the dishes. That's
Right.
yeah, that's a little different. But
Right.
yeah, that's pretty cool. So Ohio State, let's talk about that a little bit because we lived together in the dorms. Well, not together, but next door.
Next
Yep.
door, yeah.
We'd have fun
Park
nights.
Hall, room 422.
And I was just thinking about late nights in the munchie drawer.
Yeah. What'd you have a munchie drawer for, Brian?
We would get hungry at night,
Yeah.
and it was good times. But Stradley and what was yours?
Park Hall.
Park Hall.
Park Hall.
God, those were the days.
I think they're combined now.
Are they really?
Yeah, I think it's Park Stradley. They combined the four dorms.
Yeah.
I think they combined them and now it's two. And I think it's Park Stradley now, to be honest with you. I could be wrong, but I know that it's combined now.
Really?
Yeah, it's now
So
two
what?
big
The
ones.
parking lot in between?
Yeah.
Are they connected?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's two big ones instead of four.
I scammed my way into getting a single somehow.
Yeah, single.
But
I did that.
you were,
I was with Solers, with
you
Mark
were Solers.
Guy I went to high school with, yeah.
and Tony comes over, right?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Tony's married now.
Yeah, Tony's married. He's got 2 kids. He comes over to my house once a week. I don't know if he'll watch
What is this once a week thing? Is this poker?
Guys' night, man. We drink beer and make fun of each other, play cards, and
Yeah. Trenton comes?
no, he doesn't ever come.
No.
No.
Who else? Oh, does Comer come
Yeah.
every night?
Yeah.
Every
No,
week?
No, not every Thursday because he bowls, right? So he's in bowling league, but he's coming this week. This coming
he?
week, yeah. It's his first time after bowling.
Character. I mean, Comer was at Ohio State.
Yeah, he
Yep.
sure was.
So you didn't graduate, but then you're doing, successful things. That's a message,
Yeah.
It's never too late. And
Yeah, I find I like I said, it makes me sort of proud. A lot of people think I did. I guess just looking at what I've done here, you know what I mean, in the last
Yeah.
15 or 20 years, but I haven't. It's for whatever reason. I guess you have. If you make a decision to say drop out of college at 19 or 20 years old, you don't realize it's going to change your life forever, right?
Right.
But after a certain point, that's the decision that was made. You
Yeah.
got to move on from it.
got to make the best of it.
Right.
You certainly have.
Yeah, I think I could have had a lot more opportunities, obviously, if I wouldn't have done that.
Right.
But
But you're doing well.
Live with it.
Yeah. So let's talk about real estate. And you got a couple properties at auction. So how did you get tipped to the auctions? And then how did that all transpire?
Yeah, so I didn't really get tipped to auctions. We sold. Let's see, the first house that I actually ever owned was the house that my wife and her ex-husband lived in.
Okay.
2008, 2009 housing crisis, couldn't sell it, right? So if you go back, she was still paying the mortgage but living with her parents because it was for sale, but they couldn't sell it, right?
Yeah.
So
It's starting to feel. I mean, you
bit
can't
like
sell things like you
Yeah.
used to. I got
Yeah.
3 for sale right now.
Yeah.
One's in contract. One's for sale. The other one's for sale. But go ahead.
Yeah. So it's. I don't want to say that it's that bad. Obviously, it's not.
Yeah,
But
no.
it's a lot different than it was just a couple years ago.
For sure.
Okay. So we ended up selling that house. It was on the market for it was like 3 years. 3.5 years.
Jesus,
It's crazy, right?
that is crazy.
And
Is this the Great Recession?
yeah, we sold it. We sold it for exactly what we owed for it.
Yeah.
It was like just somebody buy it.
breaking even?
I had to. There's a lot of pride swallowing, right? You're gonna move into a house that you know what I mean. That she lived with her ex-husband. and,
Right. You want out.
But if you can't sell it, I mean, what are you going to do, right? So we essentially refinanced it or bought it from, like she and I bought it from she and him, if you can imagine that. Right?
Okay. Yep.
We lived in it. It was back up for sale immediately. We lived in it for a year or two. We actually got married living there. This young couple comes along. They offered exactly what we owed for it, and it was like, take it. We're out of here. I don't even care about the equity, right? And there wasn't much available. There were so many foreclosures at the time, and bank-owned property that was there. There just really wasn't a lot of houses up for sale at all where we wanted to live in Alexandria, right? And so we rented for a little while. And back to the wife asking me to do stuff. She got her email went off, and it was like Zillow or Redfin or something, and Andy, my dream house is going up for auction, and we're buying it. And it was this house in Alexandria that had sat empty for 2 years, and it was coming up for sheriff's auction, sheriff's sale. And didn't really know much about it. I was like, well, I guess we're going to go and buy this house. And we went in. For those of you that don't have never done that, so essentially what happens is whatever's owed on the mortgage, right, on the foreclosed home, that's what the starting bid's going to be. Okay, the first bid is that amount. For this particular house, it was like $32,000, right, and the bank gets that first bid. So the bank will have a a representative there, and the first bid in this particular instance, 32,000, was a gentleman from whatever bank held the mortgage, right, or foreclosed on it. I bid 33. He dropped out, and we went, me and one guy, right? This is the problem with auction, is there's only got to be two people to make it something. I thought I was going to get it for $30-some thousand. I couldn't believe it, but we went up $1,000 at a time, and I got the house for 82 grand, right? Which was still a steal. It was even in the condition it was in, I think it appraised at 140.
Yeah.
So we totally stole it.
Yeah.
Now when we got in, that house
You can't go in it until you already buy it, right?
No,
Yeah.
newspaper on the windows on the inside, so you couldn't see.
So you
it.
really have no idea.
Yeah, I called the former owner and the former owner's daughter, who we knew, and just asked a bunch of questions about it, and trying to figure out everything we could. And we sort of had to go this route because we didn't have a lot of money saved up, right? We had I took on. We got married. We had 2 stepkids, right? We didn't get any equity out of the last house.
Right.
We were still young.
Yeah, we're young. I mean,
Yeah.
we struggled.
Yeah, and so that that whole 20%, right? Trying to save up money, that gets difficult, especially when you have kids, right?
Right.
And just a way to do that for us, an avenue to do that was sheriff's sale, and back then it's a little bit different now. Back then you had to put down 10%.
10%.
Yeah. So day of 10%. So $8,200 is what we had to go there with. So I forget what we knew we could bid up to, but what we were going to bid up to was based on how much cash we had to give them.
Right.
So
because you have to have it that day.
yeah, you had to have it that day. So we buy the house, we go inside, you got to cut the doorknob off of it to get in. I mean, you're really just breaking into your own house, right?
Yeah.
They left the water on, and all the pipes froze, and it didn't have any plumbing in it. Even the toilets were burst. There was 8 inches of water in the basement.
Oh man.
There was no appliances, but we knew that was a strong possibility because it sat locked up for so many years. And the wife and I will give her credit, and the kids too, honestly, because at that time we had all 4 of them. Charlie, the youngest, he's 10 now. He was just little, and we lived in a construction zone. Essentially we stayed in that rental property until I got the first floor plumbing put in. I did it all myself.
Did you really?
Yeah. I didn't know what I was doing, but again, it's kind of like the mayor stuff, right? All that I did, all the plumbing was burst, but it was still there.
Yeah.
So I just cut off sections of it and built that on the ground, and then
Put it
back in. Yeah, that's how I did it, right?
Wow.
Got plumbing to the kitchen, the laundry room, and the first floor bathroom. There were 2 bathrooms, one was all the way upstairs, right? So I plumbed the first floor. We moved in, continued to work on the house. That's where we put all of our money. We didn't take any home equity loans or anything. We lived there 4.5 years. So eventually I got the plumbing upstairs. We remodeled the upstairs bathroom, and it ended up being a really great house. I mean, we thought we might stay there forever. I mean, the mortgage was like 74 after that down payment, right? It was, crazy how cheap it was. You know? Another house came up, and I thought the wife would want to stay at this particular home forever, but another house came up, and she said, "I want to go look at it." I said, "What the hell? What are you?"
Yeah, crazy.
And she went, and we went and looked at this house. Didn't like it, but the door was sort of open, and the realtor at the time said, "Oh my gosh, we could sell your house for $200 grand." I said, "Ooh." Well, I got, you know what I mean? I've lived in it for 4.5 years.
Yeah.
My mortgage was only 74 when I bought it. That 200, that sounds nice, right? And put it up for sale, and it sold in 11 days for 198 grand is what it sold for.
Damn.
Yeah. So the timing was really lucky again because we moved to a Johnstown house on Dutch Lane, and we got it for $344. It was 7 acres, right? It was a much nicer house, had an in-ground pool, but we didn't even look at that money. We just carried it completely over without even
Tax-free.
Yeah.
If you lived there for 2 years, right?
Yep. And so we carried that over, and so the mortgage even for the 344 really wasn't that much because we made $100 grand after everything on the other one, right? So we lived there for 2 years, and 5 miles down the road there was these signs for a real estate auction. And back to the softball league, I wanted to build our own field at a certain point, and it was 3 parcels. It was 17 acres, 5 acres, and then 25 acres in a house, right? So 5 acres, which you need to build a baseball diamond. You need a couple acres for a parking lot, a couple acres for the field. And I went with one of my buddies, one of the AFL guys. We went to take a look at it, and the 5 acres was a rectangle, so you couldn't put it's like, oh darn it, But we were there, and he was like, "Let's go into the house," and we drove up looking at this house, and it's just really unbelievable the way this house is. And there's a pond and woods, and the house is custom built, and Amish family lived there, and you go in, and all the trim and the flooring and the siding on the outside is Amish built. The people that lived there made it, and it was made from wood in the woods that they cut down and made it, and it looks like it, right? It looks like all those stereotypical Amish built Amish woodwork type of stuff, right? And it was like, holy cow, look at this. And my buddy took a picture of of me walking up towards the house and sent it to my wife, and she replied back to him, "I'll be there in a few minutes." And she showed up with the kids, and she fell in love with it, and it was like, well, we know that we did well buying the house we're in now. We know that we obviously did well selling the first house. And let's get all of our shit together. Let's call a lender. Let's call a realtor. Let's see, what we got to do. And so this one wasn't a sheriff's sale. It was just a personal auction. The guy didn't want to go through a real estate agent. They auctioned it off. Right?
Wow.
And just the way the property looked, just seizing an opportunity. But also when you're ready to seize an opportunity, obviously luck creeps in there. And we showed up, and there were people everywhere. There's all these Amish people. We thought an Amish community was going to buy it. Like, oh man, this sucks. We're not going to get it. And we went there knowing the number that we could go up to. And when the bidding started, I think there was only one other couple there. One other couple bidding against us. The rest was just the Amish people's community coming to support them. And so this was 3 years ago when real estate was so expensive, right? We got 25 acres and a pond and a 41 by 62 barn, a detached 4-car garage, 6-bedroom, 4-bathroom house. 3,300 square feet with a finished basement that doesn't count because there's no walkout.
Right.
Yeah, and we got it for $475. It's crazy, And we sold the other house that we were in. When you buy a house like that at auction, you have essentially as part of the bid packet, they'll tell you what the parameters are. And in this particular one, you had 90 days to secure financing, and so we had to write a $47,500 check this time.
Yep.
Last time it's only $8,000, right?
Yep.
You had to do 10% again, right? And if you don't secure financing within 90 days, you forfeit that $47K, right? So you're gambling on yourself there a little bit.
Yeah.
The house that we bought at Dutch Land is for $344, and we were there for 2 years. We ended up selling only 5 miles down the road, 7 acres and a smaller house. It sold for $456. Coincidentally enough, 11 days also. So we made another $100,000 on that one, and once again just carried everything over to this one. So we don't know very much really at all. We have 25 acres, and it all started with $8,200 10 years ago.
Jesus, auction. So I went to an auction, and my luck, there's this freaking guy with tons of money, and he has to get rid of some of this money for tax purposes. So he's buying the house. So about halfway through, he's like, "You're not going to outbid me, so you're going to stop?" And I'm like, "What?" He goes, "I'm just going to keep bidding."
Contest?
I'm like, "God, it was just me and him. I mean, damn it." So, I even went over my number, and he just kept going. So I'm like, "Forget it, damn it."
Yeah.
But,
so we thought, so it was 42 acres total, and we thought, wow, we came in so low on the 25 acres in the house. And then they started bidding on a per acre price for essentially the 17 acres, the 12 and the 5, I think it was, so 17 total. It was 2 parcels, and it was a per acre price. And then once whoever won that can decide if they want both parcels or just one, right? And my neighbor, we get along really well. Bill's his name. I didn't know who I was messing with there. He didn't want the house, but he's my next property over. He's my next door neighbor, but he's pretty
far away. Yeah.
And he stepped out of the crowd when they started bidding on the cornfields or the farm fields, and we had a number that we could go up to, and he just
kept going.
And then he ended up winning, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, that's okay. We got 25 acres in the house, whatever.
Yeah.
But Bill has he's great. I didn't realize who I was messing with. This 485 acres. So here I am thinking I got something with my 25, but
Not a lot though.
yeah, my next door neighbor has 485 or something like that. So
Frank Lopez had a lot.
did he?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Like 260 or
Did he? I never knew that. In St. Louisville?
Yeah, he ended up taking care of this older man, and they made a deal. If they took care of him, he would give him his acreage and a house, a couple
Nice.
houses.
They still have it?
And they took care of him, man. They went above and beyond. I mean, that guy was everywhere with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, they still have it.
Nice.
I think he sold a little bit to Carmen, the daughter.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they still have it. They built a house. They helped them build a house out there.
Yeah, I like St. Louisville.
Yeah.
I could see myself living there. We've looked at houses there over the years.
It's on Purity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We actually just looked at a house on Purity not too long ago.
Yeah. Dude, I'm gonna have to start checking out these auctions, but I got 3 for sale. So as soon as something turns with that, because it's hard to find deals, man.
Right. Well, you hear 82,000, you think, oh, I'm going to go to the sheriff's sale and do that, right? But I don't know if you're going to get one for 82.
Well,
was 10 years ago.
That was
right?
10 years ago. Yeah.
And it's not for everybody. I mean, it was just
You're taking a risk.
yeah, and there was no other way around it. We knew that it was going to probably be messed up, but
Yeah.
no matter what we uncover in that house, we're gonna fix. You know,
Yeah.
we're gonna do it ourselves. We're not going to go into a bunch of debt trying to do
Yeah.
it. And it takes, you know, if it wasn't for an understanding wife, right? I mean, you know, that makes it difficult. So
Yeah,
if you're
the struggle.
married, yeah, if you're
The
married,
struggle was real.
sure, both of them, yeah.
Yeah, we both
She
went through the
wasn't-
struggle.
Yeah.
I mean, shit.
If she wasn't down for it, it would have been and she had, you know, her friends are my friends, of course, right? We've all known each other our whole lives, but yeah, she had plenty of friends like, what the hell are you doing? You know?
Well, I'm sure Elizabeth was hearing it. So Elizabeth, when we first got married, she was working to get daycare. She would work at Montessori. She wasn't making much, but would get daycare.
Free daycare, yeah.
And then, you know, I wasn't making much. I just graduated. I didn't know shit. I thought I'd be balling. I got my
Yeah.
first check. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
What the hell is FICA?
Holy shit. I still remember seeing 586 and we're supposed to live on this. And I can't remember if that was 1 or 2 weeks, but it was like hardly anything. $42,000 a year. I thought I'd be killing it.
Yeah.
And so I started working with my dad and I was like, Jesus Christ. I was like, that's another gear. I was like, holy shit. I was like, that's how you're supposed to work. All right.
Yeah.
And then I started learning, like, I need to do something on the side, man, or we're just going to be broke.
Yeah.
First of all, to live, but if I ever want to like do anything extra, invest, I got to have extra money. So I
hustle.
started painting apartments on the side, you know, got pretty good, but I was working 7 days a week, 80 hours a week for like 5 years in a row.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, you have to go through that grind if you really want it, you know?
You want to know what my hustle was? I had an interesting one. I had a guy named Larry Coleman. I haven't seen Larry in 30 years. Well, not 30, but a long time.
Did you know Gary Coleman?
No. But he taught me how to be a salesman, right? He taught a lot of people how to be salesmen. He was one of those guys that if you just put the new people next to him, they're going to end up picking
Yeah.
up what he's doing, right?
Yeah.
And I thought he was full of shit. He told me, I don't know, a week or two after I met him, that, you know, I got a side hustle, I got a side business.
Yeah.
What do you do? He's like, I paint curbs. I was like, what the hell are you talking? Who's this Larry guy? What are you talking about, man? You know? And he said, I'll tell you what, I'll pay you $10 an hour. I was like 19 or 20 at the time. I'll pay you $10 an hour, but you got to do all the painting, and I keep the rest. And I was like, this guy's an idiot. I'll take that. 3
Yeah.
hours at $10 cash. I'll take it back then, you know?
Yeah.
And he takes me to this neighborhood, it's like in Upper Arlington, I think. And he's got this backpack with spray paint in it, black and white spray paint, and then stencils. And he knocks on the door. I'm standing there with him, and he said, hey, I'm repainting the address boxes on your curb. I just do it to raise money for school. You want yours done? I say, how much? He goes, $10. Okay, he goes, yeah, go ahead. And so I paint, you know what I'm talking about? You go in a neighborhood,
Yeah.
there's a white box with black numbers for the fire department to see. That's all he did. In that 3 hours, he made like $250, gave me 30, and said, now go buy stencils and paint. And that was my side hustle for years. And actually, I turned that into like knocking on doors over the weekend and just selling painting curbs and telling
Yeah.
them I was doing it to raise money for school. I ended up with one of my buddies he's passed away. His name was Mike Magert. He was one of my salesman friends. He and I were in Huber Village, maybe is that what it's called there by Sunbury?
Yeah.
I think it's called Huber. And this old guy answers the door. He says, you know, you're not allowed to do that. And that does happen, right? Where you have to have
You get some
permits.
kickback,
And
yeah.
when that happens, okay, no problem. You leave. He goes, no. Get your buddy and come in here. I want to talk to you. And he ended up being the township trustee. This guy did, one of the 3 township trustees. And he hands us a can of Coke and said, I got 2,200 curbs that need painted. I want you to come to our meeting and put together a price to paint them all. And so us just hustling, you know, kids with spray paint, we ended up getting that contract. It's like $13,500 to paint the whole thing. And 2 years later, we got it again. And actually, the wife helped me paint those. And my half of that one went to pay for our wedding.
There you go.
Yeah, that's how
Hustle,
we paid
dude.
for our
All
wedding.
right, let's talk about this fit real quick. I mean, this is a fresh tracksuit. Shout out Axel, Zavi, Ralph, Angela. They got me this tracksuit. So, you know, tracksuits are kind of my staple, and I rock them very often, but they actually got me with it. You know, see the logo there. Peep the logo. We'll have to get Hallam in a tracksuit. That'd be a sight. But Hallam, what you got going on? This is Hallam's normal fit. So what? Jeans and a black t-shirt and the chain wallet.
Every day.
Let's not forget about the chain wallet.
Every day.
Okay, so we peeped the fit there. We got to peep the fit on every episode. Okay, so we were getting into sales, which is super important for anything. I mean, if you're good at sales, like you can do a lot. I mean, you can pretty much be good at business
Yep.
and good at anything, really. So, what's your background with sales again?
So, you know, when I was 18 years old, in the Lantern, the Ohio State newspaper, the Lantern,
Yeah.
right? I was a freshman in the dorm and had to get a job. And I replied to this one ad. It was called America's First Mortgage, right? And I went for the interview, and it was like 4 hours a day, right? And it was all outbound, like telemarketing is where I started, you know. And the trick was it was doing refinance applications, and so the trick was you cold call these people's houses, and you talk about a tough sales job, but you cold call people at home in the evenings, right? And you would give them your little spiel about interest rates or whatever it was, and then you went through the application at the end. In order for it to be a sale, you had to get their social security number over the phone.
That's brutal.
That's brutal. I didn't realize, you know what I mean? I didn't realize how crazy that was until I got older. But man, I made so much money at this place.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, to the point where, you know, still in college, so my bank statements went home, you know, my parents' house, and my dad called, wanted me to come home. He's all pissed off. And he thought,
you into something you shouldn't be?
yeah, he thought I was selling drugs or doing something. Where the hell's all this money coming from? I was like, my job. What are you talking about, Dad?
Yeah.
He's like, bullshit. You know,
I'm selling the dream.
so mad. And I showed him my pay stub. I was like, oh, this, you know, I mean, I was making so much money.
So,
side note, I went to work one day. I used to ride the Coda bus from campus. It was like closer to downtown.
Thinking about ran me over one day.
Yeah, and when I got there's a bunch of cops like raiding the place, you know, and this cop goes, "You don't work here, do you?" And I go, "Nope." And he goes, "That's what I thought you'd say." And I just got back on the bus.
Holy shit.
But yeah, I don't know what happened. I don't know what went down there. America's First Mortgage back in the day, but
They got in some shit,
that was
huh?
my first sales job. Yeah.
Okay, so people, you know, most people are gonna be like, just hang up, or be like, come on, man, I'm not doing this. So what was your little trick to get them to stay on? Because the first thing is just getting them to stay on the
Willing
phone.
participant. Yeah. So you know, we're talking almost 30 years ago.
Right.
Telemarketers
Things are different.
Yeah, it's that wouldn't fly now.
Cell phones and
Yeah, so it was a little bit different back then, but they used to say it's all about your opening. It's all about your opening. You got to hook them, and once you get them speaking to you, then you got them.
yeah.
Right?
So what was your hook?
I always considered it so simple, but it obviously isn't as simple for everybody else. But it would just be like a quick, "Hey, how are you doing?"
Yeah.
Like, "I'm sorry, who's this?" "Hey, my name's Andy. I'm with America's First Mortgage. You heard us?" "No." "What?" "Oh, I can't believe you haven't." "Well, we're this mortgage." You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Just go into it and try to entice them with getting them intrigued. Right?
Yeah. And so were you selling a good product? Did you have a lower interest rate or what?
Yeah, we did. Now I don't know what happened with the rate or anything because the company wasn't there anymore after that.
Ruh-roh.
They worked in conjunction with another company. I forget what they were called, but they were in the same building, and they did they financed like home equity lines or something like that. You know, to do repair.
HELOC.
Yeah, and they sort of we would try our company. You know, you were a junior loan officer, so all you did was get the Social Security number, and wherever that paper went after that, I don't really know. But they essentially told us it was to refinance people's mortgages. I do know that every refinance application we got also went to this HELOC place, and they would call them and say, "We also have this." So it might have been a refi shop and a HELOC shop, I guess. You know, but again, I don't know if it was raiding it because an individual was being arrested or the company was doing something wrong. But I just never went back.
Yeah.
You know?
Probably not
So
not something you want to.
From there, I went to a place called New Pros Data. And man, this place was if you could survive, I found, especially later in life looking back, if you could survive there, you could sell anything anywhere. And man, they could train you. I told you earlier about becoming a sales trainer. That's where I was, right? And they could teach you to be a salesman, but man, your job was on the line every day, every single day. And so the company had maybe 100 reps, you know what I mean, at any given time, but there was only about 12 of us that were consistent. The rest was just completely turning over every week almost, you know, and it was one of those kind of chop shops. But what ended up happening is I was there for so long that companies around Columbus, you know, I would go for interviews and they'd be like, "Jesus, you made it New Pros for 5 years?
Like you're a champ."
And they wouldn't believe you. Like if I call them, are they going to say you were there for 5 years? Hell yeah, they will.
Yeah.
How the hell? Every time we see New Pros on a resume, it's 6 months or a year,
a week.
A week. Yeah. But it was like a movie, right? I mean, it was always about closing, and even when you're not asking for the business or closing, you're still your eyes on the prize. And if you know what you're listening for, you'll hear a good salesman always working towards that because eventually they're going to close. And with New Pros, if everything was a buying sign, if the customer asked a question, you would answer it, and it would be like objection, rebuttal, close.
Yeah.
Whatever question it is, answer the question, ask for the business every time. If you don't, we'll fire you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so we'd say, oh, I can't, it was like, essentially it was address labels is all it was. You know what I mean? And we would get the information free from any county courthouse, and it would be people who just bought a house. We could put parameters around it. So if we called a plumber, and what kind of people do you want to deal with? Well, I want people that just bought $500,000 house or up and moved here in the last 6 months. And okay, and we get you an address label to put on your own mailer to send it out to everybody who just purchased a $500,000 home or more, right? And it would be whatever. It was a monthly subscription, right? Is what it was. It was like whatever, depending on how many labels you got. It was $50 or $100 a month. I don't really know. You know what I mean? And we would also sell a lot to mortgage refi companies, right? They would use them as leads, but because we could go back in time. So everybody who bought a $300,000 house or more 6 years ago, or whatever it was, right? And somebody would say, well, how am I going to have time to do that if I'm a plumber? How am I going to have time to put in address labels? Like, you have wife and kids? Yeah. Well, have them do it at the dinner table. Would you like to give it a shot? So you're always, every time you answered a question, you were asking for the business over and over again. And it just, if you wanted to keep the job, you had to do it no matter how uncomfortable it was, no matter how bad it sucked, no matter if you thought you were being rude or not or pushy. Yeah. You still did it. And that's where me and most of my salesman friends came from, was that place that's no longer in business. The guy that owned, his name was Alan. He when he retired, he sold everything. He didn't pass it on to anybody. He sold it all, went to Florida. But man, that place was nuts. Yeah. I mean, it was like Boiler Room. Remember that movie Boiler Room? That's exactly what it was like.
And so it's all commission?
You got a little hourly.
So is that stressful?
Oh yeah. I lived most of my life in sales, and it's a lot of stress.
Nerve-wracking. If you're not closing deals, then
and at a certain point you get used to it, when you're a salesman, because even though you don't know where your next sale is going to come from, you're a good enough salesman or a good enough negotiator. It's going to happen. It's a
you're going to do it.
And people like to say, how do you know that? You don't know that. Well, technically you don't, but if you come across a good salesman, like I said earlier, they're going to be able to sell anything you want, and learning how to do that, and learning to ask for business, and being a salesman, as you said, everywhere in life, it helps everywhere. I mean, it helps with buying cars, it helps with buying a house, right? It helps with everything. Yeah, right?
Negotiating.
Yeah, where I really cut a lot of my teeth on sales, being a salesman, is with my dad's dad. My grandfather was a salesman, and going to garage sales.
Oh yeah, Frank. Frank Lopez, dude.
People.
Oh my God.
Just offering something.
You see $4, and he's like, "How about 2?
I'll give you 2. Here's 2 for it. Just being strong with how you.
Yeah, because they're gonna do it.
Yeah, they want to get rid of it. Yeah, they want to move it back into the house. So, when I met my wife, and we just happened to stop at a garage sale. My mother-in-law was there, and she wants a deal everywhere she goes, man. And when she saw that I could do that, it was, oh my, you can do that. And then for years now, we've been together 16 years total. I'll still go to him with my mother-in-law. I want this, but I don't want to pay $10. And then I'll take it, just got it for $9,
Boom. Let's go.
It's a piece of junk, But I love it. I love that whole negotiation, and selling and buying.
A deal.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, you can't feel bad about it. It's just it's part of life.
Even selling cars, man. If you ever, when you use your car and you sell it, if you can negotiate with people, man, you can always get a few more bucks out of it.
Brand new tires. I mean, come on. Look at it. Washed it every day. I babied the hell out of it.
Just had the transmission flushed.
Yeah. I mean, look at it. Looks brand new.
Oh, yeah. Polished it. Just had it detailed.
Waxed it every other month.
I'll give it to you for $20,000.
I'm just feeling generous.
Just want to get it out of here. Somebody give it to you. Give you an opportunity.
So, what are your goals? I mean, what do you have going on for the next 5, 10, 15 years? I mean, you're going to be looking at another auction. Actually, your house was for sale. So
yeah. So we plan on we're not going to stay at this house forever. We wanted to sort of seize Intel, but that might be on a little bit of a break for them now. But the idea is going to be here early retirement. We have a 10-year-old, so we have another at least 8 years. And you know as well as I do as a parent, that 8 years is going to be another 10, right? Mm-hmm. So the idea would be to hopefully retire mid-50s. I think we've sort of positioned ourselves if real estate prices even stabilize, as long as we don't have a recession, right? I feel like we're in a pretty good position with
I mean, even if a recession happens, it's going to get over it. You know, it'll come back.
Right. So we're obviously, as I said, we're sitting pretty good with how we bought. It's never going to go less. It's never going to, the property, my primary house right now is never going to be less than what we paid for.
No,
right? So
no, it's never going to be probably less than what it is right now. Really.
Yeah. So I don't think the prices have gone down much. I think that interest rates obviously have cooled the real estate market over the last couple of years. Now, Central Ohio is going to be a little bit different because of the Intel boom, but that's backing out right now. Interest rates have gone down a little bit, but nothing to really impact the market. Really.
No.
Now, I don't know if you saw, but the Fed chair spoke this week in Chicago, and he's holding tight right now with interest rates because they're not really sure how these tariffs are going to affect inflation. Right? There's a lot going on with the economy right now, and if you're in a position now where you bought a couple years ago, I think our interest rate's like 2.8 or something. You know what I mean? It's low, right?
Why get rid of that if you're going to be paying 7?
Right.
It's got to be a hell of a deal, which you'll be able to, you could get that, but you got to make sense of it.
Right. But the way we're positioned now, I'm 45, right? So we just 10 more years of building wealth, and we both have we both work for really good companies, and the 401ks. We work for banks, right? So the 401ks are doing very, very well.
Do they match? Sure, they do.
Yeah.
Up to what? 6%.
6%. Actually, starting next year, I think my match will go up another %. So we'll be putting a little bit more into it. But just as I said earlier, you get a brother who died at 42. We both have parents that are still working. It's like, what the hell? I'm not going to be working when I'm 70. What's the sense in doing that? So
unless you love it, but still.
Yeah. And I have to admit, I do love what I do. But the idea of retiring, we want to retire. We're going to retire to Lake Cumberland, Kentucky-Tennessee border. That's always been the plan since it was my plan before I met her, and I met the wife, and she was like, yeah, hell yeah, I want to do that.
Yeah.
So, houseboat.
Oh yeah, you talked about this.
Yeah. Which, interestingly enough, the houseboat market, I don't know if you ever looked into it, but it was solid for years. 4 to 7% growth. I mean, it was oddly enough, you would think a boat, you're going to buy it, it's going to depreciate. Not the case. But then here in the last year, I don't know what's happened down there, but they've gone way down in price, which is good for us.
Yeah.
We're probably going to buy one here.
What's the history?
Years. What do you mean? What's wrong with it?
Well, no, the history of houseboats. I mean, does it traditionally usually just go up like real estate or what?
Yeah, typically. Well, at Lake Cumberland does. That's the only place I've ever really looked at it. Now you have to. There's a lot of upkeep, as you can imagine, right? So it costs more to upkeep the boat than it would be a normal house, of course. But I don't know. I think what we're finding here, and it just might be an opportunity for she and I because we're interested in it. But I think that there's a generational gap. When you go down there, the people that own houseboats are typically our parents' age. They're getting older, and people our age just really aren't into it the way they were, right? And so as they continue to sell, there's the demand.
Not
there's
as
more boats for sale than ever before, right?
Is there boats and hoes too?
Yeah, boats and hoes. They're out there. They're not old. There's plenty of hoes out there.
Oh, that's funny. So yeah, that would be, I would say 55. I mean, I want to be able to do whatever I want at 50 by the time I'm 55.
Yeah,
that'd be,
me too.
That'd be the goal.
Just drink beer. Let's face it, drink beer and fish.
Right. Because if there's nothing to do, you're going to probably be drinking some beer.
Right. And hopefully it'll be 10 years before we get any grandkids, but you never know, right?
Right.
And, our oldest is 20, right? So I guess that could happen at any time.
Anytime, yeah.
We're hoping for their sake that they push it later in life. The best advice I ever got when it came to that was, and a lot of people didn't do it my way, but don't have any kids or get married until you're 30.
Yeah.
My kid Cindy Solers used to tell me that growing up all the time, and it worked out that way for me. And I just like watching my brother and friends that had kids at a younger age. Yeah. Now their kids are older, and they get to relax a little bit more than maybe I do. But you just have more money. You know what I mean?
It's a struggle, man.
Yeah,
it's a struggle. I guess the pros and cons. I was young. I mean, we struggled. It was hard.
Yeah.
The good thing is you're young with your kids. You're more active. But I mean, how much more active are you? I don't know. And then the other good thing, we'll be empty nesting at 48. So
yeah. See, I'll be 55.
So that part sounds intriguing. So
53.
So yeah. So the goal for me is by the time empty nesting, we can kind of do what we want. But so we're doing apartments this year. Those are kind of a little bit of a snag, but we're getting through that. That'll be anytime. We'll be starting those 24 units on Mount. We're doing 70,000. Yep, nice. 70,000 square foot of office warehouse next to the bowling alley.
Oh, really?
In Heath.
I
Yep.
know about that one.
Flex office warehouse, and then on Sharon Valley where the old car wash is, that's vacant right now.
Yeah.
We're going to be tripling the size of that office building, including the car wash. That tenant's signing a 7-year lease to Wilbur Group Insurance.
Okay.
And So that'll be big. So those are three big projects that we're going to design, build, and operate. And then we have land. My dad has land that I'm going to buy into, hopefully, over on Licking View, right next to their apartments. It's 10 or 11 acres. So we were looking at apartments there, which we're still looking at apartments, but we were looking at assisted living years ago, and then COVID hit. So we had a building designed, everything ready to go. Then we decided to do it over on Reddington, a smaller scale. Then COVID hit, and we're like, you couldn't find the help with, people making more at Target and whatever. So you couldn't find the help. Well, now my wife feels like she can find the help again. So we're looking at that again. Actually, I just got a call. One of our key people went over and looked at that land. It's kind of tucked away. It's right down from Heath High School. So does it really need to be on a busy street? Hopefully not. I don't think it really is as important as like storage or something.
No, yeah, where you need to.
Right. So we're looking at assisted living. I'll show you the plan. We can pull up the plan here when this posts. But assisted living in the front, 60-bed facility, and 112 apartments in the back. So that'd be big. If it was all going to be apartments, it'd be like 150, 160 units, and this is still going to have 112. That's kind of crazy. So 60-bed facility with 112 units. We just had 24 units appraised for $4.9 million.
Nice.
So if it was all apartments, it'd be like 33, 35 million for that. The value, the value. So it's exciting. So it's going to be big. We haven't got investors yet. I might start doing that, but we'll see. Got to structure it right. It's got to be a win-win for everyone. There's a lot of groups out there that give away most of the equity, which I don't want to do that because that's where the money is. Like, there's so many people that are like, yeah, we own thousands of units, but they give away 80% of the equity, and they're more transactional with fees. And I don't know. I don't want to be that. I don't want to be that model. So finding the right structure where everyone wins, right? Maybe give up like 50%, or some even just do raise money and then have people invest while you're building it, and then you pay them like 10% on their money, which is a good rate, and then you pay them your money back once it's stabilized and you can refinance or finance with the bank. So many different ways to do it. So we'll figure out which way is the best and then really scale it.
How do you think the popularity will go?
For the assisted living?
There was one that was built in Johnstown a couple years ago.
I don't know. It's zoned. That's a good question because it's zoned multifamily, and we got to see if that'll even fly. Actually,
yeah.
I didn't really think about that, but we were going to do it in Newark, and it was zoned multifamily. I don't know. We'll have to check that right away. But it's a great setup. I mean, it looks good. It's
Two buildings or one? Is it
the assisted living?
Yeah,
I'll show it to you.
Assisted living. The back is apartments, or is it two buildings? Or
so the front building will be assisted living, 60 bed facility, and then there's apartments in the back of the property.
So two different. They're separate, of course.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How's rent look? Obviously, it's high right now. But
for apartments.
Yeah. What's the?
So we're gonna try. So that we have 4 1-bedrooms. So these 24, we're gonna try to be getting like 1,500. They're brand new. We're gonna have them look nice. They're gonna be quartz countertops, LVP. Real nice finishes. Sure. So I think 13 to 1,500 for the 1-bedroom, and then around 1,700 for the 2 bedrooms.
You think rent will stay up there like that?
I don't think it's gonna come back down because I just raised all the rent on the houses that I have to minimum of 1,800, except for a couple that are smaller and just different situations. But for the most part, 1,800. And I'm like, you can look around, but this is fair and it's market rates. This is actually cheap.
Yeah.
Still.
Yeah, you can't expect people get so mad about that, right?
Yeah, and it's like you get mad. I said your lease is up, so you're welcome to look around. If you want to move, you're welcome to, but it's got to go up, man. I mean, it's got to be. We got to do things fair,
Right. You can't be.
Can't expect to have it super low because I had it super low forever, and it's just like it's dumb. I mean, it's a business at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think about that when I was young. I don't know if it's so crazy to think about how much different rent and house payments were from. I mean, even 10 years ago, right?
Yeah.
But you also can't blame the owners. I mean, if the neighbor's house is renting for this much, why would I give it for half?
I mean, if there's a dump in the East End renting for $1,800, and I got a nice house on Saddlebrook and Heath that we built like 10 years ago, it's like new. Like, come on, guys. So that's what I tell these people. I'm like, sorry, but
you don't have to live here.
Right. I'm trying to be respectful and I'll give you time, but at the end of the day, we got to do what we got to do.
So you like that? I've always stayed away from rentals. I don't know. You hear horror stories,
You
that's
do.
all you think. Obviously, you shouldn't go into a venture thinking about that. But,
right. I mean, it's you could say that about pretty much anything. There's horror stories about a lot of stuff, but if you build it new, you have a lot less maintenance.
Yeah.
And so then there's that, and then I've had to evict people, had to get dumpsters, and I've dealt with it all. But if they're in nicer areas, that helps too, and then you're getting more rent and stuff like that. So
how long does it take?
How long does it take to what?
Evict?
It's a pain in the ass. I had a squatter.
Oh, you did?
I had a squatter. So my
had to
first
evict the
house.
squatter?
Yeah. So my first house I ever built, I have an older gentleman there.
Okay.
Kent, shout out, and he's lived there for like 10 years, and he has trouble getting around a little bit. So this girl was in there helping him, a family member helping him. So then she stopped helping him, and he's like, okay, well, you're staying here for free. So so she moved into his garage and wouldn't leave, and then she set up shop there, building this fort in the yard and shit. I'm like, I drove by, I just happened to drive by and check, and I'm like, what the hell is this? And she's like, I'm building this fort, like I'm like, what? Like some people were building this thing. They think they're going to drive around the country or what? I don't know what the hell she thought, but she's doing it, and looked like a junkyard, man. It looked like a junkyard, and I'm like, you cannot do this here, man. She goes, okay, well, I'll get it out of here. So I drove by like 5 days later. Well, actually, I have my squatter rights, and I'm like, what?
Oh my gosh!
And so I had to call an attorney and figure this out, and I had to freaking evict her, and she stayed till the last day.
Oh my
God! So I'd pay an attorney and go through all this shit, go to the eviction. She didn't show up, but she stayed till the last day. She knew when she could stay in there. I'm like, God, man, I've seen it all.
Evict the squatter.
So yeah, I mean, you have stuff like that, but it's part of the business. It's fine. So I'll have quite a few houses coming that'll be paid off finally in 2029.
You ever go to sheriff sales?
I went to one auction, but I want to start going to those. Yeah.
Well, you can. It's a little more streamlined now. Lincoln County, I think they've contracted with like Auction Zip or an auction company, right? It's not just showing up at the courthouse. You know what I mean?
Is it online?
Yeah, it is.
Probably more competition too, though.
Yeah, I'm sure there is, but they've made it a little bit easier as far as the down payments go. You know what I mean? And it's not as much as it was when I did mine 10 years ago, which is a good thing. As far as seizing an opportunity to do that, I mean, you got the guys. You could, you know what I mean. It just depends. It's tough, right? It's all about managing your risk, right? You don't know what you're going to get into.
We just got a house in Kirkersville, and it was built in 1841.
Oh, I've seen this one.
Yeah, and so I put this budget together. There was an inspection, so I was like, okay, I got to fix all this stuff, and I put a budget together. We went way over the budget, way over the budget, and so it's a learning lesson for all of us, and so just got to track it all better and figure it, and then of course you run into things. So contingency, you got to have a contingency. I mean, these trees were going up through the garage. The stumps, I had to demo this block wall, grind the stumps down, lay the block wall back up. I mean, just stuff like that adds up. But it's in contract, so
good.
Yeah, that's in contract.
That's been a long one, hasn't it? You've had that
I mean, it was supposed to be 60 days. It was a lot longer, a lot longer. Now we do have a lot of other stuff going on, so we're kind of going here and there. So we have Brentwood for sale. That's in Licking Valley. That was a challenge. So we built that on a hill. I got the lot for like 20-some thousand. My dad's like, "You sure you want to do that?" And I'm like, "Oh, we'll be fine." And it cost way more than I thought. So whatever. That one, and then we have one in Deer Run, right next to my old house. Did you ever go to my old house? Yeah. So we've had some action there. No offers, but we need some offers here coming up.
Yeah. Just sticking mainly with new builds moving forward. Or are you going to keep buying?
I wouldn't be opposed to it, but just have to stick more to what the budget is.
Yeah, there's not a lot out there that's
right. And
flip opportunity, right?
No, and there's not that many lots left either.
No.
In Newark Heath, and I'm always the most expensive house in the freaking neighborhood. So next time I'm going to do something where you can build $1 million to $2 million house, and there's $2-3 million houses everywhere.
Yeah.
Where is that in Ohio? I don't even know. Maybe Upper Arlington.
Well, we have a few out where I live, but it's all with land, right? It's all at least 20 acres.
Right.
So unless you're going to get into that, but there's a house just coming up they're building it right now. They just bought 10 acres last year, and they're building. You should see this. You got to come out to my house and see this. I don't know. I can't wait to meet them because this house is ridiculous.
All those times I was invited, man.
Yeah.
We made a joke about that the other night, but we do need to come out and check it out.
Yeah,
I'd love to. Yeah, the Amish build it. Says it has some character.
Yeah, it does. It's a third of a mile from the road.
Yeah.
There's a big long asphalt driveway, which we enjoy, right? Obviously, it's a lot easier to take care of. More expensive, but it's a lot easier to take care of than gravel, But you can't hear anything. We got a bald eagle.
I heard that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So, turkeys.
How big is it?
The bald eagle?
Yeah.
Oh man, it's a couple feet tall. I mean, it's huge.
Jesus.
I mean, obviously you don't get very close to it, but you see it landing in the field and stuff, and it's like, man.
So those were pretty close to being. I mean, they were endangered for a while. They still endangered.
You never saw them here when we were growing one. I don't.
I've never seen one.
Yeah. I didn't see one until a couple of years ago, but this one, I think I don't know where the nest is, but it's somewhere near our house because it steals fish out of the pond.
Yeah.
It's cool, right? It's cool seeing
I bet
that
it can
stuff.
freaking eat some fish. Being that big, Jesus.
Yeah. So
That'd be cool.
anyhow, there's a huge house being built by me, and it's
Monster.
yeah, and it just people are moving here, from the city. A lot of people are moving here from out of state, especially to like Alexandria, Johnstown, Croton.
Yeah.
The more what they consider country, right? And that's good for us. Well, it's good or bad depending on how you look at it, right? It's good for people that don't plan on living on their, handing their houses and property down to their kids.
Yeah.
But there's a struggle in the community where I live. There's some people that really, really don't like it. There's people that are really, really fighting it.
Yeah.
And then there's people that are taking advantage of the opportunity. I'm one of the latter there, obviously.
So there's definitely some opportunity.
Well, I always thought Alexandria should expand. They have a sewer that was operating, I think, at 50% capacity, so they had plenty of room to expand. They just couldn't really find a way to financially make it feasible, which is understandable. However, things have changed since I was there, and there's new opportunity to partner with other communities or surrounding communities to sort of block some of that expansion. I don't think. I guess we'll see. I don't really know what the Village of Alexandria outlook is. I hear from both sides. People that want to turn it into a city and keep the expansion coming because it'll make my stuff worth more, and I see people trying to stop it. So
Yeah.
where your interests lie, I guess.
Well, this is definitely a record breaker today. Longest podcast in history.
Yeah. I'm sure we'll edit it down, but
Yeah. So this is coming up on 2 hours. Is that right? I mean, we took a little break, so it's like a 15-minute break. Well, okay. It's been a pleasure there, pal.
Yeah, pal. Thanks, man.
And maybe I'll get an invite out to your crib.
Yeah, you
check
come
that
back
out
if you want.
Yeah, and so shout out to the fam, and appreciate you letting us steal your man today. It's been fun talking business and life, really. I mean, you've done a lot. Seems like you're going to do a lot more. Just getting started, and 55, you'll have that boat.
That boat. Yeah, that's the plan. Thanks for having me, buddy.
Yeah, anytime, man. So we will be dropping this. Let's see, probably in the next couple weeks, I would say.
Cool.
And we'll do some reels too.
How fun.
We'll have to. I'm gonna get you on a skit.
Okay.
You know how we do those?
No.
You'll see. You'll like it.
Oh, is that where you have like the phone call? Like,
Yeah.
get out of there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's Little Brian.
Yeah.
And people always say, "This is fake." I'm like, read the caption.
No
It says it's
kidding.
fake.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Going over scenarios.
I just say, read the caption, you moron. Jesus, it's just a reenactment. God. Every time. Why does the voice sound the same?
Sounds just like
I'm
the
like,
phone.
Jesus. Oh my God.
Former mayor.
This is good stuff. Well, the mayor
Yeah.
of Alexandria. Former.
Two
But
times.
it's pretty cool. 2-time, not even elected 2 times. No one will ever be able to say that again, ever.
yeah.
It's pretty awesome. Well, appreciate you coming out, man.
Yeah, thanks,
and episode 12 wrapping up. You're going to love it. So we'll be dropping this soon, and you'll see you live. Holla.